The giant in the south hallway was cold and quiet. Only the soft sound of boots echoed as Ethan walked past the guards. He held a small tablet in one hand, and nervous sweat ran down his back. Today was his first visit to Cell 9, the place where they kept it. They called it many names: the weapon, the hybrid, the monster, but no one used its real name. Maybe it didn't have one. Maybe it didn't deserve one. Ethan had read the reports. 10 feet tall, half flesh, half machine, strong enough to break steel, smarter than any human, dangerous, unpredictable. And yet, no one really knew what it wanted. It hadn't spoken since the day it was captured. When he reached the door to Cell 9, a voice stopped him. "You sure about this?" asked the head guard, a tall woman with sharp eyes. "Most people don't last 5 minutes inside." Ethan nodded. "I just want to observe. That's all." She pressed a code on the panel. A heavy metal door slid open. Inside, the room was dark. Only a dim light above the glass cage showed the figure inside. And there he was. The creature sat still, his massive body resting against the far wall. Skin like iron, glowing lines across his arms and chest. Cybernetic implants covered parts of his skull and spine. His eyes, silver and calm, opened slowly as Ethan entered. For a moment, neither moved. The silence was heavy. Ethan stepped closer to the glass. "My name is Ethan," he said softly. "I'm here to study you." No response. Ethan waited. The creature didn't blink, didn't move, only watched him like a mountain watching a storm. The room was cold, but Ethan didn't feel it. He was too focused, too curious. Most people felt fear around the hybrid. But Ethan felt something else. Sadness. Something in the creature's eyes didn't look like a killer. It looked like someone tired of being alone. "I don't want to hurt you," Ethan added. "I just want to understand." Still nothing. He stayed for 10 minutes, making notes on his tablet. No movement, no sound. Just those quiet silver eyes. As he turned to leave, a voice, deep and broken, spoke. "Why?" Ethan froze. He looked back. The creature was standing now, tall and heavy, his head nearly touching the ceiling. "Why? Do you want to understand?" The voice was slow, mechanical, but clear. Ethan's heart pounded. This was the first time it had spoken since capture. "Because you're not just a weapon," Ethan said. "You're alive. And I think there's more to you than the reports say." The creature stepped closer to the glass. Heavy footsteps shook the floor. His hands were massive, bigger than Ethan's head. Scars ran down his arms like rivers. His chest moved slowly, with each breath. "I was not made for peace," the creature said. "I was made to destroy. Maybe. But you're not destroying anything now," Ethan replied. "You're thinking, feeling. That matters." For a long moment, the creature stared at him. The lights in the room flickered. Then slowly, he sat down again. "You shouldn't be here, human," he said quietly. "I can't be loved." Ethan's chest tightened. He didn't know what to say. Not yet. He simply looked at the creature and nodded. "I'll come back tomorrow," he said. As the door closed behind him, the creature looked at the glass. And for the first time in many years, he didn't feel completely alone. The rules are broken. Ethan returned the next morning. Just like he said. But this time, something was different. As he entered the hallway, 2 guards stood closer to Cell 9 than usual. One of them looked nervous. The other was silent, gripping his stun weapon tight. "Something wrong?" Ethan asked. The silent guard shook his head. "No, just ... Be careful in there today." Ethan walked in anyway. The lights inside the room flickered as always. The cold air wrapped around him like a warning. But the hybrid The creature was already standing, waiting, his silver eyes locked onto Ethan the moment he stepped through the door. There was no smile, no warmth, but there was something new, curiosity. Ethan stood near the glass wall again. You remembered, the creature said, voice low and metallic. I said I'd come back, Ethan replied. I don't break promises. For a few seconds, the creature didn't speak. Then he stepped forward. His shadow covered most of the room. He raised his hand slowly, a massive, scarred hand, and pressed it gently against the glass. Ethan stared. The fingers were larger than his arm, thick with metal veins and glowing circuits. Without thinking, Ethan lifted his own hand and placed it on the glass, mirroring the gesture. A tiny moment. No words. No fear. Just contact, even if separated by a wall. You are not like the others, the creature said. They look at me with hate, but you look at me like I matter. You do matter, Ethan whispered. Suddenly, the door behind him hissed open. The head guard entered, looking angry. What the hell do you think you're doing? Ethan turned quickly. I saw it. You placed your hand near the glass. Rule number 1. No physical interaction. Ever. Not even through the wall. He didn't do anything wrong, Ethan argued. Doesn't matter. This isn't a zoo. He's dangerous. But Ethan didn't back down. He spoke. To me, he's thinking, feeling. That's not just dangerous, that's human. The guard gave him a long, cold look. You're too close. If you cross the line again, you're off this assignment. She turned and left. Ethan stood there, breath heavy. The creature looked down. I told you. They don't want me to be anything but a monster. They're wrong, Ethan said. You're more than what they made you. A pause. Then the creature whispered, almost like a secret. I dream now. Ethan's eyes widened. What do you dream about? The creature sat down slowly, his back against the wall. I see stars, flying machines, oceans. I see people, smaller than me, kinder. They are not afraid. Those sound like memories, Ethan said. From before the war? The creature didn't answer. He just stared into space. Over the next few days, Ethan returned every morning. He brought stories, small things, a tiny book about earth animals, an old music chip, a toy spaceship, things the creature had never seen before. They talked about space, about silence, about fear. One day, Ethan told him about his childhood, about how he grew up without a father, how he used to look at the stars and wonder if there was someone else out there, someone who felt just as alone. And now I found you, Ethan said quietly. The creature listened, always silent, but always watching, absorbing every word. But outside the cell, things were changing. Security cameras watched Ethan more closely. Guards whispered when he passed. Someone reported that the hybrid had started smiling just once when Ethan told a joke. Smiling. That was impossible. Hybrids didn't smile. They weren't supposed to. Then came the night that changed everything. Ethan couldn't sleep. He had this strange feeling in his chest, like something bad was coming. At 2:17 a.m., his room light blinked red. Emergency alert. Containment breach in cell 9. He ran through the halls, pushing past soldiers. Alarms screamed. Red lights painted the walls like blood. When he reached the control room, a commander blocked his way. You're not authorized to be here, the man barked. What happened? Is he okay? Someone tried to assassinate the hybrid. Unknown intruder. Failed. Failed? The commander's face went pale. Yes, because he didn't fight back. He just stood there and took it. Ethan's heart sank. He pushed his way into the observation deck. The glass was cracked. Not shattered. Just one sharp, deep crack across the center, like a wound. on a face. Inside, the creature sat in silence, blood running from his arm, sparks flicking off one broken implant. He looked up at Ethan. Double quotes, "I didn't stop him," the creature said. "Why not?" "Because I wanted to see if you would come." Ethan stepped closer to the glass. His voice shook. "You could have died. Maybe that's better than being locked in this box forever," the creature said. But then I remembered. I had one thing left. He looked Ethan in the eyes. "You." The door opened behind Ethan. He didn't look back, but he knew what was coming. They were going to take him off the project. And he wasn't going to let that happen. Not now. After everything. "Why don't you fear me?" The room was dark. The creature sat in silence, his arm still damaged from the attack. The crack in the glass hadn't been fixed. No one dared enter cell 9 anymore. No one except Ethan. But Ethan hadn't been back in. 3 days. Guards said he'd been removed from duty. Some said he was reassigned. Others whispered he had been taken off station. Completely. The creature waited, unmoving, eyes fixed on the door. He didn't sleep. He didn't eat. He just waited. Then, on the 4th day, the door opened. Not loudly. Not fast, just a quiet hiss. And then soft footsteps. It was Ethan. His coat was gone. He wore no ID badge now. His face looked tired. Not just tired, but hurt. He stood in front of the cracked glass and whispered, "They told me if I came back, they'd arrest me." The creature looked at him, silver eyes blinking once. "Why did you come?" Ethan stepped forward. "Because I made a promise." A long pause. Then the creature said something he had never said before. "You're not like them." Ethan smiled. "A little. I could say the same about you." The creature tilted his head, voice deeper now. "Then why don't you fear me?" Ethan walked right up to the glass. "Should I?" The hybrid stood, slow and heavy. His full height made the room feel small. His shoulders were wide enough to crush a car. His fists looked like weapons. Glowing lines ran across his arms. "Like veins of light, I've torn ships apart," he said. "Ripped through steel, crushed men's skulls with my bare hands. I wasn't made for mercy." "Then who made you?" Ethan asked. Silence. Then the creature moved closer. "They called themselves the Architects. A dying race. They built me to be their last weapon, their final hope." Ethan's eyes widened. "Not for protection?" The hybrid shook his head. "No, for revenge." He turned away, looking at the cracked wall. "They fed me pain. They installed memories, false ones. They showed me how humans destroyed their colonies. How your kind hunted them, broke treaties, left their cities in ruins. That wasn't us," Ethan said quietly. "Those wars happened long before my time." "Doesn't matter," the hybrid growled. "They made me believe it was all. Still happening. Made me believe I had to kill anything human." Ethan took a slow breath. "But you didn't kill me." "I don't know why," the hybrid said. "Maybe something inside broke. Maybe your voice. Your stories. They rewired. Something. Or maybe," Ethan said gently, "you always had a soul." The hybrid didn't speak. Just stared at the glass. And then, without warning, turned and slammed his fist into the wall. Not at Ethan. But at the far corner. The entire room shook. The glass didn't break, but the lights flickered. Sparks falling from above. Ethan didn't move. Not an inch. The creature saw that. When he saw no fear in Ethan's eyes, something in him changed. His voice cracked when he asked, "What if I lose control again?" "Then I'll bring you back," Ethan said. "What if they take me away?" "I'll follow." "What if they kill me?" Ethan's voice was steady now. "Then I'll make sure they remember your name." Silence returned. Then the hybrid sat down, slower this time, his chest rising and falling with a deep, heavy rhythm. "I dream of fire," he said, "every night. Ethan sat on the floor outside the glass, like always. What kind of fire? The kind that burns everything. Not just buildings, memories too. I see. People screaming, running, and then I wake up alone. Ethan reached into his coat, pulled out something small, a hand-drawn picture. He held it up to the glass. What's this? The hybrid asked. It's a place on Earth. A forest. I used to go there when I was a boy. It's peaceful. Yes, it is. The hybrid stared at the image like it was treasure. You think they'd ever let me see it? Ethan's voice broke a little. I'll take you there someday. Outside the room, people were watching. The head guard, a few scientists, a man in a black coat who didn't speak. They watched through the cameras, whispering to each other. He's too close now, said the head guard. He's changing the Yazi. Asset's behavior, said the scientist. No, said the man in the black coat. He's making it human. And that's the real danger. They all nodded. The decision was made. They would terminate the hybrid. But no one told Ethan. Not yet. That night, when he returned to his bunk, he found a note on his bed. No name. No signature. Just a line. They're going to end him. Leave now if you want to live. Ethan held the paper tight. His heart raced. He looked out the small window at the stars. And he knew exactly what he had to do. Asterisk removed from duty. The sun never rose on the space station. Lights flicked on and off by schedule. But the cold metal halls stayed the same, lifeless, quiet, and full of watching eyes. When Ethan entered the lab the next morning, he already knew something was wrong. His ID card didn't work. He scanned it again. Access denied. Then, behind him, a voice said coldly, You're not allowed here anymore. He turned. Two security officers stood behind him, one tall, one silent. No emotion on their faces. Ethan's voice was calm. I'm here to check on Cell 9. I'm the lead contact for the hybrid. Not anymore, the taller one said. You've been removed from duty. Effective immediately. On what grounds? Unauthorized communication. Emotional attachment. To a Class 0 threat. Possible breach of containment policy. Ethan stepped forward. He's not a threat. You're not a scientist anymore, Mr. Ethan. They handed him a digital file. Termination of access. Suspension from duty. Investigation pending. Everything he'd worked for. Gone. Ethan stared at the file. His hands shaking. Not from fear, from anger. That night, he sat alone in his room, watching the cameras they hadn't yet shut down. One small feed still showed Cell 9. The hybrid sat, still, back against the wall, head down. Lights dimmed. Alone again. Message flashed across the bottom of the feed. Termination scheduled 48 hours. Ethan's breath caught. They were really going to do it. The next day. He tried everything. Emails to command. Calls to the ethics board. An urgent request for appeal. No one replied. His friends avoided him. One even turned his head in the hallway. No one wanted to be caught talking to the traitor who loved a monster. But Ethan didn't stop. He went to the station's AI system. One he helped design years ago. Athena, he said quietly to the console. I need a favor. The soft voice replied, You no longer have high-level access, Dr. Ethan. Then do it for old time's sake. Pause. Then. What do you need? At 2:45 hours, the lights outside Cell 9 flickered. Just for 3 seconds. Inside. Hybrid opened his eyes. The door clicked. It didn't open. But the lock had been bypassed. Then a voice came from the wall. Soft, hidden. Ethan's voice. Can you hear me? The hybrid stood. Yes. I don't have much time. They're going to terminate you in less than 2 days. The creature was quiet. He didn't seem surprised. I know. We have to get you out. The hybrid turned toward the camera. Why? Ethan paused, then said, "Because you're not just some experiment anymore. You're my friend." A silence. That lasted 5 full seconds. Then the hybrid whispered, "What do you need me to do?" The escape plan wasn't perfect. Nothing this dangerous ever is. But it had a chance. Athena gave Ethan a map of the lower tunnels. Old maintenance shafts no longer used. Ethan had a stolen pass card from an old contact. And the hybrid had strength. They had only one problem. The walls. Cell 9's outer structure was made from plasteel, layered with shock-bonded alloy. Nothing was supposed to break it. Nothing but the hybrid. But if he broke it, the alarms would go off instantly. So they made a choice. They would risk everything together. At 4 o'clock hours. The plan began. Ethan triggered a false fire alarm in Section 3. All guards left their posts by protocol. In that same moment, the hybrid stood, walked to the back corner of his cell, and punched through the wall. Not the front, not the glass, but the side panel where the emergency power box was hidden. One punch. Then another. Then a blast of sparks. The system glitched. Door unlocked. He stepped out for the first time in over 2 years. The hallway was empty. Ethan was waiting. They didn't speak. They just ran. Through the tunnels, through pipes and service vents. Down into the belly of the station, where no cameras worked. Ethan's single quotes S breathing was rough. The hybrid moved like a ghost, silent for someone so massive. They reached the final door. A hangar bay. A small ship sat in the center. Not military, not tracked. "This is it," Ethan said. "We fly, we vanish. They'll never find us." But before they could move, freeze. 10 soldiers, rifles pointed. The head guard stood in front, eyes full of cold fury. "Step away from the asset, Ethan. Now." Ethan raised his hands slowly. "He's not an asset. He's not a threat. He escaped containment because you ordered his death." The hybrid stepped forward. The guards flinched, but didn't shoot. He raised his hands. "I don't want to fight," he said. His voice echoed across the hangar. "I just want to live." One soldier lowered his weapon. Just a little. Then the hybrid turned to Ethan. "Get on the ship. What about you?" "I'll hold them." Ethan shook his head. "No, we leave together." The head guard raised her hand to signal. Fire. But before she could, a blast of light exploded from behind. Athena's voice came through the loudspeakers. "Unauthorized weapons fire detected. Disabling power grid." Everything went black. A perfect blackout. No lights. No guns. Only the sound of running boots and the hiss of a ship door opening. Ethan and the hybrid vanished into the night. Run or die at stars were cold and endless. Ethan had seen space before, through windows, screens, simulations. But this was different. This was real. This was freedom. The small ship tore through the dark like a broken arrow. Engine lights flickering. Hull groaning from pressure. Inside the cockpit, Ethan sat in the pilot chair, fingers trembling as he pulled the controls. Behind him, the hybrid stood still, too large for the tight space. He had to crouch slightly, one hand on the wall to keep balance. They didn't speak for a while. The only sound was the humming of the ship and the echo of what they'd just done. They had escaped, but not clean, not safe, not yet. "They'll come after us." A hybrid finally said. His voice was steady, but something about it felt tired. Ethan nodded. "I know. They'll send drones, maybe full units, maybe worse." "I know," Ethan repeated. The hybrid looked down at him. "You could have stayed, gone back. No one would have blamed you." Ethan turned, looked at him dead in the eye. "Yes, they would have. I would have." A pause. Then Ethan added, "Besides, you're the only real thing I've found out here." The hybrid looked away, as if unsure how to accept that. Then he sat down slowly on the floor, knees tight to his chest, and whispered something Ethan barely heard. "I don't know how to be free." An hour later, alarms began to beep. Ethan checked the screen. "They've found us," he said. A red dot was following them. "Fast, too fast. Hunter-class interceptor," he muttered. "Military. Designed to take out small ships like ours." "Can we outrun it?" the hybrid asked. "No. Can we fight?" "Definitely not." The hybrid stood. "Then we run anyway." They dropped into an asteroid field. Ethan gripped the controls, dodging massive spinning rocks, each one big enough to crush them like paper. The interceptor followed. Lasers flashed across their tail. The ship shook. Warning lights screamed. "Engines overheating," the system said. "Life support unstable." Ethan yelled, "Hold on." He dove the ship behind a large asteroid, then cut the engines. Silence. The ship floated dead. The red dot passed them on radar and kept going. Ethan didn't breathe until 2 full minutes had passed. They were alive. Barely. Inside, smoke curled from the control panel. The air was thin. The lights dimmed. Ethan fell to the floor, coughing. The hybrid pulled a panel from the wall and began repairing wires with his bare hands. Sparks flew. His fingers bled where metal tore his skin, or whatever skin he had left. "Why are you helping fix it?" Ethan asked. The hybrid didn't look at him. "Because if you die, I'll be alone again." They floated in space for hours waiting. No more signals came. No more red dots. But they couldn't stay here. Fuel was low. Oxygen was lower. Ethan checked the nav system. One nearby planet, not registered, possibly uninhabited. He looked at the hybrid. "We land there, or we die here." The hybrid nodded once. The descent was rough. Gravity pulled hard. The sky was dark. Red clouds swirled like angry smoke. Lightning cracked above. "Bad atmosphere," Ethan muttered. "Toxic, maybe. We'll need masks." The ship hit the ground like a falling building. Metal screamed. Panels burst. Fire spilled from the back engine. But they survived. Somehow. They stepped out into a world of ash and silence. A dead planet. Rocks and ruins. Broken towers that looked like old bones. "This place was alive once," the hybrid said. "You remember it?" "No, but I can feel it." They walked through the ruins, searching for shelter. Ethan's single quotes S legs were weak. He hadn't eaten in a day. The hybrid carried him when he fell. "I'm fine," Ethan protested. "You're not," the hybrid said. "Then neither are you," Ethan whispered, looking at the sparks still flicking from the hybrid's broken arm. They both collapsed under the remains of a metal archway, once part of a building, now just a skeleton. The sky was dark above them. Stars hidden. And then, the worst sound yet. A beacon. Ethan's eyes widened. "Our ship sent a distress ping." Someone answered it. The hybrid stood up fast. "How long?" "Not sure." "An hour. Maybe less." The hybrid looked around. "There's nowhere to run." "Then we don't run," Ethan said. "You can't fight." "I'm not leaving you. They'll kill us both." Ethan stood up now, face pale but voice strong. "Then we die together." But someone else had followed the beacon. Not the military. Drones. Something else. Something older. A ship descended slowly. Not like a human ship. It was sleek, black, and silent. When it landed, the hybrid's body froze. His voice went cold. "That's not from your people." "Then who?" "The architects," the hybrid said. Ethan stepped back. "But they're gone." "You said some of them survived," the hybrid whispered. "And they're coming for me." The ship opened. 3 tall figures stepped out. Taller than humans, thinner than the hybrid. Their eyes glowed blue. Their skin looked like liquid stone. One of them spoke, not with a mouth, but into Ethan's mind. Return the weapon. Ethan grabbed the hybrid's arm. He's not your weapon anymore. He belongs to us. No, Ethan said. He belongs to himself. The hybrid stepped forward now, between Ethan and the alien figures. He raised his damaged hand. You used me. You were built for purpose. I have a new purpose now. You love the human? He looked back at Ethan Dot, then forward again. Yes. A pause dot, then the aliens raised their arms. Light formed between their hands. A weapon of energy, ancient and powerful. But before they could fire, the hybrid leapt. He moved like thunder. He tore through one of the figures, sending shards of stone across the ground. The others screamed. They fought. But he was faster dot, stronger dot, angrier dot. In less than a minute, it was over dot 3 bodies. Broken and silent, Ethan ran to him. You okay? The hybrid dropped to his knees. His chest was smoking. His breath came slow. They were my makers, he said. But they never gave me life. You did. Ethan held his hand. Then let's live, whatever it takes. The hybrid looked at the sky. Dark clouds began to clear. The first time, a star shined through. The crashed sky stayed quiet for a while. No ships, no weapons. No voices in their minds. Just silence. Ethan sat beside the hybrid, both of them beneath the ruins of the ancient tower. The bodies of the architects lay scattered, broken, alien. Stone and blue light fading into dust. They had won, but the hybrid didn't move. His chest was cracked open. Not blood, but something darker leaked out. A glowing fluid. Half energy, half metal. Ethan pressed his hands against the wound. You're losing power, he said, voice shaking. The hybrid didn't answer. Stay awake. Damn it. Stay awake. Ethan dragged him back to the ship. What was left of it? It had no wings now, just a torn engine, melted controls, and half a working battery. But it still had one thing. A medical pod. Old, rusted, but working. He powered it on light. Flickered. The pod opened. Ethan climbed in halfway, dragging the hybrid's massive body inside. It barely fit. When the lid closed, the screen blinked red. Warning: incompatible biology. Unknown hybrid structure. Repair sequence uncertain. Ethan slammed his fist on the console. Do something. Anything. The machine began to hum. Ethan sat there, staring at the screen for 2 hours straight. He didn't move. He didn't blink. He just watched. And hoped. After 3 hours, the hybrid's chest rose, then fell, then rose again. He was breathing. Slow, but steady. Ethan dropped to the floor. Exhausted. They stayed grounded for days. Ethan repaired what he could alone. He used old metal from the ruins to patch the ship. Solar panels to charge the systems. Manual filters to keep the air from killing them. He didn't sleep much. When the hybrid finally woke up, it was night. The red sky had faded. The stars were back. Ethan sat outside the ship, staring at them. You should rest, the hybrid said softly from behind him. Ethan turned, smiling weakly. You're awake. The hybrid nodded. Barely. Ethan walked over and touched his arm, the one that had been torn during the fight. You saved me again. You brought me back, the hybrid replied. They sat side by side, quiet. Ethan asked, Did you know them? The architects? Yeah, only in my memories, and even those were lies. They showed me Earth cities burning. Children running. I thought all humans were monsters. Do you still think that? The hybrid looked at him. No. A few nights later, the hybrid woke up in a cold sweat. His eyes were glowing, his body shaking. Ethan ran to him. What is it? The hybrid's voice trembled. I saw the old war again. In my sleep, Ethan placed a hand on his chest. It wasn't real. I was tearing through a station. Hundreds of humans. They were screaming, begging. I didn't stop. That wasn't you. It was, the hybrid whispered. I remember it. I felt it. I liked it. Ethan's eyes darkened. He didn't look away. You're not that thing anymore. How can you be sure? Ethan leaned in. Because that thing would have killed me weeks ago. And you? You protected me. Even when you were dying. The hybrid closed his eyes. I'm scared. Ethan whispered. Me too. On the 6th day, the ship's system came online again. Ethan stared at the screen. Navigation worked. Fuel cells charged enough for one jump. We can leave, Ethan said. The hybrid stood beside him, watching the map blink. Where to? Ethan smiled. Anywhere. Somewhere green. Somewhere quiet. Earth? The hybrid asked. Ethan paused. We go there. They might shoot you on sight. Then we don't go. Ethan looked up at him. You'd give up your chance to see the stars, the forests, everything. Just to protect me? You gave up your whole life for me, the hybrid replied. So yes. Ethan closed the map. We'll find somewhere new. Somewhere that belongs to both of us. As they prepared for takeoff, a distant signal crackled on the comms. Not military, not human, something else. Voice, static-filled, repeated the same words over and over. We know you have the weapon. Surrender or be hunted. You cannot escape the signal. Ethan's fingers tightened on the controls. They found us again. Who is it? The hybrid asked. Ethan checked the signature. It wasn't from Earth. And it wasn't from the architects. Someone new. Ethan whispered. Someone worse. The hybrid stared at the stars through the glass. It never ends, does it? Ethan looked at him. Maybe not. He took a breath. But I'm not letting them take you. The hybrid looked down at him. Then we run again? No, Ethan said. This time we fly. As the ship lifted into the red sky, lightning crackled in the clouds. Below them, the planet began to shake, as if the ground itself didn't want them to leave. A black mark formed across the land, stretching like a scar. Something ancient had been awakened. But Ethan didn't look back. Not this time. He had one hand on the controls, the other hand resting gently on the hybrids. Where metal met flesh. The stars welcomed them. For now. Asterisk. I was made for war. But I chose youth. Stars looked peaceful. But peace was always a lie in deep space. Ethan stared out the window of the small ship as it drifted toward a new sector. Ahead of them, uncharted territory, blank systems, empty planets. Behind them, warships. At least 5. Maybe more. They came without warning. No radio messages. No demands. Just red markers flashing on the scanner. They were being hunted. Again. They've surrounded us, Ethan said quietly, his fingers moving across the controls. We don't have weapons. No junk drive, no chance. The hybrid stood beside him, silent. He stared at the incoming ships on the display. Triangle shapes, sharp and black. Unlike any human or architect design. They're not from Earth, Ethan muttered. And they're not your makers either. Then who? The hybrid asked. Someone new. The hybrid stepped closer to the screen. They're not after you. Ethan turned to him. What? They're not here for you, the hybrid repeated. They're here for me. How do you know that? The hybrid looked down at his hands, metal fingers cracked with old battle scars. He closed them into fists, because I can hear them. A voice filled the ship. Not over the speakers. In their minds. We see you, weapon. We know what you are. Return to us, or burn with the human. Ethan flinched. The voice was sharp, cold, like a blade. They're inside our heads, he whispered. Hybrid closed his eyes. They're ancient. Older than the architects. They used to control systems like mine. Hybrids like me. Before the architects copied their design. Ethan stepped back. Are they your origin? No. Hybrid said. They are my shadow. Outside the window, the lead ship opened its hull. Something inside was charging. A weapon, not a final one. Ethan's voice cracked. We can't survive that. Even if we run, we're not running, the hybrid said. What are you talking about? Hybrid turned to face him, calm, powerful, and painfully sad. You gave me life, Ethan. Real life, not programming, not war orders. You gave me something I didn't think I deserved. Ethan stepped forward, voice rising. Don't say it. Don't do something stupid. I was made for war, the hybrid said. But I choose. You. I didn't save you just to lose you now. The hybrid smiled, just barely. You didn't lose me. You helped me find myself. He placed one hand on Ethan's chest, softly, carefully. You are my own. Ethan grabbed his hand. If you go out there, I'm not going to destroy them, the hybrid said. I'm going to call them. Call? Watch. The hybrid stepped into the airlock. Ethan tried to stop him, but the inner door. Sealed. The hybrid stood alone, in a field of stars. He raised both hands. Energy began to pulse from his chest. Blue, then white, then blinding gold. What are you doing? Ethan shouted through the speaker. The hybrid's voice echoed back, unlocking what they fear most. Then silence. Then a shockwave, not an explosion. A signal. On the enemy ships, the weapons stopped. The engines shut down. Lights blinked. Some turned away. Some exploded. Not from attack, but from inside. The rest floated. Dead. Ethan stared in awe. What did you do? The hybrid returned slowly, glowing like a star. As he stepped through the airlock. His body looked different. Not broken. Anymore. Not made for war. Balanced. Like something new had been born. Ethan stood frozen. The hybrid looked at him. I found the true signal. Buried deep inside me. A code hidden by the architects. They made me a weapon, but they also gave me the key to stop the war. How? My presence, my soul, is proof that something better can exist. Not just machines. Not just weapons. Something human and something more. Ethan stared at him. So, what now? They flew on. No more ships chased them. No more voices filled their heads. Space was quiet again. For the first time in weeks, Ethan and the hybrid breathed freely. After many days, they found a small planet. Lush. Green. Untouched. No cities. No armies. No war. Just rivers. Forest. Sunlight. Ethan stood in the middle of a wide valley, looking up at the sky. The hybrid stood beside him, still tall, still silent, but not cold anymore. Place, Ethan said, feels like the picture I drew. Remember? The hybrid nodded. Double quotes. Do you think they'll come for us again? Maybe, the hybrid said, but now we're ready. Ethan looked at him. Will you fight? Only if they try to take what I've chosen. And what did you choose? The hybrid didn't answer right away. He knelt in the grass, feeling the earth with his hands. Then looked up. You? That night, they lit a fire. No tech. No sea. OMS. No noise. Just warmth. Just stars. Ethan leaned back, staring at the endless sky. You know, he said, people are going to tell stories about us someday. What kind of stories? Ethan smiled. About how a human and a hybrid stopped a war without firing a single shot. The hybrid chuckled softly, a deep, rumbling sound. They'll never believe it. Ethan looked at him. That's the best kind of story.